Hi everybody, welcome to Caketastic Cakes. It's Jen and I'm going to show you how to make a cake in the shape of a giant bottle of Heineken beer. And if you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing. And here we go. Alright, we're going to start with the cake itself. As you can see, it's a hodgepodge. I had started by making a smaller one in the center there that I'm putting the icing on and realized it was just the wrong shape and everything. So I had to extend the front, which I'm icing right now, and put more layers of cake on the bottom to make it just stretched out. It was a very short and stout little bottle of beer, that cake that I was making. And this way I've turned it into a much longer bottle of beer. So I don't know if this would work for a bottle of wine too, if you guys ever needed to make a wine cake. But this is where I ended up. So I just kept icing my little conglomerate cake there until I got it as smooth as I could, which I gotta admit wasn't too bad. It was kind of fun to do. For some reason, certain things I find soothing like that. It just kind of strokes my inner kitty. This was one of them, putting the icing on this one. So I iced it all up, stuck it in the fridge so it would get nice and firm. When I bring it out, I had to clean off the cake plate, of course, which is what I feel like I always do sometimes. And then I'm adding powdered sugar all around the side of my cake plate. I'm going to put fondant over it, and this is a trick that I've discovered that works beautifully. It doesn't stick to the cake plate, so the fondant will stick to the cake but not the cake plate. So it saves you a lot of time and effort trying to scrub it off. There is my fondant that I rolled it out. I ended up making marshmallow fondant, which I have a video showing how to make it and how to, the ingredients and everything. So I made it, I laid it over, patting it all down the sides, tucking it in nice and neat. There we go. Using my little pizza cutter there in order to trim off the extra. Just got to go nice and carefully. And there is a little bit of a drawback too by using marshmallow fondant, is that it's very springy. It's very elastic. So once you get the weight off of the sides, that it will kind of retract a little bit. And you gotta leave a little bit extra, like a little bit more than you might otherwise. Otherwise, you end up with the edge showing at the bottom there. So you have to go stretch, stretch, and tuck, tuck, tuck to hide everything and make it look nice. So once you get it all nice and tucked in, then you got to clean your cake plate again. But this time it's a lot easier because it's just powdered sugar. It doesn't have the fondant stuck to it. Once it's all nice and neat, then we're going to start actually decorating the bottle. I'm going to start by making the bottle cap right now. I am using gum paste for this. I didn't want to use the marshmallow fondant because it is so darn stretchy. And I didn't get it as smooth as like store-bought fondant, so I wanted to use something that looked a little cleaner. And there's the whole fact that I also had the colors already mixed, so yeah, I didn't feel like remixing everything when I already had it done. So I laid that big old flap over the edge there, marked it off with my knife as you saw, trimmed off the edges off camera. You can just assume it happened because I don't have a staff to do everything for me under the counter like a Martha Stewart show or something. I wish. And then replace it, wrap it around, size it up, mark it off. Okay. Now I'm using this veining tool to put indentation lines up and down to give it the idea of a pop top bottle, because Heine is a pop top. It is not a twist top, so just a little fun little detail to add there. Once I got all the marks in on the sides, I'm going to use the smaller side of the veining tool, if you happen to have this one, in order to make a ring around the top, just to kind of segregate it, separate it off. So there you go, right? Not too shabby. Bottle cap. Okay, now I'm going to do the label on the neck of the bottle. This is a piece of white gum paste. I just got a good size going from side to side. I'm trimming it so it's flat on the surface and kind of curved down in the center. So it's going to be at the fattest in the middle. See what I mean there? Like that. And now I'm going to decorate the label. And this is where I'm going to skip a lot of stuff for you guys because it's tedious. I'm just assume everything I make for these labels is rolled out very thin. It's all gum paste. And I'm attaching everything with water, okay? I've just caught you up on like 90% of the video I had to edit out here for this one today. So I have a stripe of dark green at the top, going just across the top, and then I'm going to lay my kind of light gray stripe there up against it on my white background. I'm using my stick there to push everything up nice and snug, nice and tight, trimming off the extras, as you can see. And I keep a piece of cellophane over the entire thing while I'm working on it so it doesn't dry out. I need it to be flexible to wrap around the neck of the bottle without cracking or damaging. So just cover it with a little piece of plastic wrap. That's all you got to do. Okay, so this is like a rectangle that I cut out, as you see. I cut a circle that almost goes to the bottom in the center. Going to make two straight lines on either side, and this is going to become part of the label. It goes almost up to the top of the gray line. There's a little bit of a space, and it goes straight up and down. I did have to curve it to follow the cut of the white gum paste, so you can see where it would distort a little bit of the shape, so I just had to retrim it a tiny bit to square it off again. I'm making a freehand red star, and if you guys have seen any of my old videos, you know that freehanding stars is my just piece de resistance. I'm just so amazing. My 5 stars right there was originally a 6 star. I don't know how it happened, but I had to trim it and tweak it, and there you go. Now, if you Google the labels, which I highly recommend you do, because you're going to need them for a template or something anyway, you're going to see there's a ton of writing on these labels. It's like Heineken went out of their way to make it difficult for people who don't have little edible printers to use. So I am using my edible food coloring markers to write in all the words. I think there's premium quality across the top in gray and green, trademark on either side of the red star, trade on one side, mark on the other. There is imported. There is something about the date in Paris, I believe. So anything that you see written on the label that you can write yourself, go ahead and write it. And if you can't actually write it legibly, just, make some wiggly lines to make it look like you pretend you're writing it. So there's a little green line underneath. There's a couple of green, just decorative lines on the inside of that dark green piece. Do the best you can. And for the final touch, I added one more piece of green to the bottom of the label. So now my top label is done. Here comes the main label where all the good stuff happens, and it's a whole lot of templates where I was saying before. Find yourself a good size that matches what you're making and print it out. It's going to save you a ton of headache if you don't have a way to have an editable printer and you have to do it by hand. That's what I did. Okay, so here we go. We're starting with just the basic outline of the white. Once again, I'm going to trim it in the dark green, just like that top neck label we did. It was a little bit short, so all I did was add just another piece of green to it. No big deal there. Just make sure your edges where you meet the two pieces together are cut straight and nice and straight and even. I'm adding the inner circle there of gray, that light gray again, just like the label before. It goes right up to the dark green line. And now I'm going to start working my way kind of from the outside in. At the top, it's hard to see, but there's a couple of lines that just follow the curve on the right and the left with words in the center. I want to say it said premium quality, I believe. But again, if you look at your label, you're going to see it for yourself. At the bottom, it has the couple lines coming down just like that as well. And it has like the bottle's measurements, the fluid ounces and the parts of alcohol, the percentage of alcohol, that kind of stuff. So just follow your label, as best you can. I'm going to use some black gum paste here to cut out the big old Heineken symbol in the center. There it is. Look at that. Put it right in the middle. And now I am cutting out letters. I realized after the fact that I wasn't even on screen. So just imagine the scissors going snip, snip, and you've fully embraced the moment and the experience. All right, so once I got my letters cut out, I am reaching for my white gum paste, and I just start cutting out around my templates that I made. So each and every stinking little letter I had to cut out and then trace out on my white gum paste, and then oh so carefully put them back together, and there it is, right? Okay, so it's not so bad. It's time consuming and it's tedious, but it is in no way hard or difficult to do this. So just figure you're going to be put on a movie or something when you do this, and just take your time with your outlining. So there's the star again that goes on the logo. It is in the center kind of the top part of the label. This is a dark green piece. It's a big thick stripe. I matched it up. That's where you see it says Heineken Pilsner right there. And I'm going to take that piece and wrap it around so it kind of follows inside that green line that I drew. I'm going to do it on the top and the bottom, and I'm going to trim it down so that there's a little gap between that and the black label. It does not go right up to it. Okay, so you got basically a green rainbow and a green letter U by the time you're done with everything. See, there's the bottom part. For the bottom part, again, same thing, just trim it off a little shy of the black label in the center. Okay, here we go. Some more letters to cut out and trace. So once again, I'm going to save you all the boring details. I trimmed out the letters. There's my little pile there. And there's my white gum paste. And once again, there I am with my little X-Acto knife, taking it one little snippet at a time. Just keep on trimming until you eventually get all of your letters. And there they are. See, once you get them all trimmed out, then put them into location, place them up nice and neat, everything, whatever you need to do. And then when you have them all placed, that's when you're going to add the water and stick them all down. Now that that's done, we're going to go back to this insides of the top and bottom part of the label. So once again, on either side of the red star, trademark. Underneath there was just a whole lot of words about Paris and the date. And underneath was more words not in English, so I don't know what they were saying, if it was locations or something, or maybe prizes, their contests they won, I don't know. So forgive me, Heineken, but I just copied it as best I could. I went back with the black and added a line above and below the label because it's kind of like a ribbon, look on the label. So I was just trying to add the back details to that. I'm sorry, again, this is a little off screen, but I was adding the light gray circle seals or pictures on the bottom of the label. It's like a couple of circles overlapping a little with some squiggly lines around them and some designs inside. So I just kind of freehanded it as best I could to give the idea of it. It is not a perfect match, but that's okay. The effect is there. That's what you want. You want the effect. So a couple more green lines as you saw me do. And then it's ready to go on the bottle. So then I stick it on top of my cake, press it down carefully, hope and pray you don't make any little cracks in it because it is still curved. And there you go, your Heineken cake. So I hope you found this video helpful. Please like and subscribe because, again, that does help me out. Check out my many other videos because I got a ton out there. And as always, thank you for watching Caketastic Cakes.